Okay, we've already covered epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle tissue. The fourth type is called nerve tissue. And in the nervous system, there are two types of cells. There's a neuron. And then the second type of cells are called neuroglial cells or neuroglial cells. Neuro and glial. Glial means glue. The only type of cell in the nervous system that is electrically excitable is the neuron, and that's what we're looking at down here below. The three main parts are these dendrites, which look like these branches around the periphery, the cell body, which is the soma, and then we have the axon. Those are the three really main parts of a neuron. And the direction of which energy or neurological information travels, you see right here, the direction that the message travels, it comes into the dendrites, into the cell body, and then it moves down the axon in this direction to the very end of the axon where we have these axon terminals. And at the very end of the axon terminals, like right here, this could be muscle, let's say. This could be a muscle. And at the end of the axon terminals here, we have what's called end bulbs. They look like light bulbs or end bulbs. And what's stored in these end bulbs are proteins that are called neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters. And these neurotransmitters can either be excitatory, like turning on a light switch, or they could be inhibitory, like turning off the light switch. And at the junction between the nerve and the muscle, we call it the neuromuscular junction. And the neurotransmitter that's really important at the neuromuscular junction is called ACH, which is an abbreviation for acetylcholine. Acetylcholine. Choline is rich in eggs, especially the yolk of the eggs. Acetylcholine. Acetylcholine. So we have dendrites, the cell body, axon, and at the very end of the axon are the axon terminals, and at the end of them we have these end bulbs that contain proteins called neurotransmitters. If we're talking about the junction between the nerve and the muscle, we call that the neuromuscular junction, and the neurotransmitter that is released to have influence over the muscle's contraction is called acetylcholine. Notice that the axon is myelinated. Myelin is like a fat or a cholesterol that acts as an insulator to protect the axon. It's like looking at a plug, right? If you have an electrical cord that's plugged into the wall, you rarely see the wires, right? The wires are insulated. They're protected, because if they weren't and you touch the wires, you can get electrocuted or shocked. So the wires or the axons are protected by this fat and cholesterol called myelin or myelin sheaths. And there is a disease called MS or multiple sclerosis in which the myelin breaks down. It's like an autoimmune disease where the body attacks its own Schwann cells. They're called Schwann cells. And the Schwann cell happens to be a type of neuroglial cell. And that Schwann cell produces myelin. It produces myelin in the peripheral neural system. Okay. Okay.